All right, hello everyone. My name is Olafisoyi Ige. Today we'll be looking at a very important topic that I believe cut across, especially for youth and young people out there, finding balance in the digital age, escaping the grip of social media addiction. Many of us are addicted to social media one way or the other. Or maybe I should say that many of us, one time in our life, some of us have been able to overcome it, but sometimes many people, at least a larger percentage of young people out there, are still very much addicted to social media. And I really do hope that the recording of this particular production would reach out to them. All right. So without any further ado, I would want to bring in Elzenitho. Elzenitho, how are you this morning?
I'm cold. Rain just finished falling, so yeah, everywhere is a bit cold this morning.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
nice to be here.
All right. I guess we in Accra here, we received the first share of the rain, then we send it. Okay, but rain just fell this morning, but
It's been falling over the night, so everywhere is a bit chilled.
great. All right. Thank you so much, Elzenitho, for joining us at the Live Clinic Talk Show. Right. And I'm so excited about our conversation today. So, Elzenitho, I don't know, maybe you could just do a brief introduction of yourself, what you do, so that our audience here can have a better grip of who you are.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lawrence Timothy. Good morning. Yeah, my name is David Ayakosho. I'm popularly known as Elzenitho. I am a visual designer. I'm a brand strategist, and I've worked with several brands on visual communications, design, motion graphics, and the likes. It's even funny that we are talking about social media addiction because social media itself is like my canvas. It's my, how will I put it? It's like my television where I showcase myself to the world, right? So it's a very, very interesting conversation. So yeah, thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Elzenitho. How do you come up with Elzenitho? I mean, that name is pretty unique. It's not something you find. If someone gets to anywhere and just search for Elzenitho, you are really not going to meet two people bearing Elzenitho.
Yeah. So yeah, the way I got Elzenitho is actually very funny. When I was in FUTA and I was probably like in 100 level, I was trying to like get around finding myself in terms of like the design space. You know, the moment you know that you're going to be a designer, you start cooking a name for yourself. I think those that are designer here would understand. And so I didn't want a name that is like usual, right, or common. I wanted something very, very unique. And the main idea is to bear a name that means top dweller, because that was like exactly what came to my spirit, like someone that dwells at the top, right? But I didn't want to put top dweller because I mean it's anybody can be a top dweller. So what I did was I remember growing up when I was always reading Super Strikers, there was this particular guy in Super Striker called El Matado. El Matado means something, right? In either in the Brazilian culture or so. So I know that being at the top means apex or zenith, right? Just like the Zenith Bank. So I wanted to use that word zenith. So I turned it from the English word to the Brazilian word zenito. So I then added EL, which means D or God. So it became Elzenitho. That's top dweller. So yeah, that's basically how I got it, and it just stuck. Although some people still do not know how to pronounce it, but everybody's like finding a way to like get used to it. So yeah.
That's thanks so much for. I mean, that will really help people that are really looking for a unique name. You know, you talk about you do branding and the like. So I guess when you are when one is finding his or her niche, right? I think being unique is actually something that is very germane. Right.
Yeah, very, very important.
But Elzenitho, how has you know, the digital age? I guess we're in the digital age, or maybe some people also call it information age, technology age. You know, everything is just digitalized. How has it actually influenced your field as a designer? As the coming of social media? Social media in the last 20 years ago, social media is not, I don't know, maybe there is social media then, but even if there was, it would have been amongst the elite class, right? So, but as the incoming of social media really, you know, helped, especially in your field of design?
So I think social media has the digital space itself has like transformed a lot of things, right? So first thing first is information. when we're growing up and probably we're trying to like learn probably basic design on paint and stuff like that, because there was nothing like social media or we were not exposed to social media. You can only do what you can see. So, for example, I used to say that exposure would help you go far, right? You can't design what you have not seen, and that's basically the truth. You can't imagine what you have not experienced or what you have not seen before. And growing up then, when we're designing, the only thing we can design is things around us, like probably cartoon that we just finished watching, or we can just catch something that is around us, like super strikers and stuff. And also, when you're trying to like learn the basic Corel paint, then you can only learn from people around you, right? And in your own mind, you would think probably like these are like the best of the best in the entire world. But because social media came in and the digital space came in, we started having information, right? We started seeing different ways of designing. We started seeing other designers from other cities, other countries, even other continents. And one thing about the digital space and how it has affected design is it became a situation by nobody's an island, right? Nobody can prove to be the best of the best until you showcase yourself out there. And it has helped everybody to have like a leveling field. Everybody can learn from everybody. Like you can literally be following one of the top designers of the world, and the person might not even know you from anywhere, but you are just following him. You are being mentored by his designs, by what he posts online. So it has given everybody like the room to learn wherever you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in this entire world. So long as you have a phone and access to the internet, you can get any information you need. So in terms of design, it has helped me to like know certain things that on a normal day from Bariga, I definitely do not have access to such an information, right? But the digital space has opened everybody to a leveling ground where you can all learn if you are interested in learning. So yeah, that's basically it about the digital space.
But are there disadvantages? I mean, you've mentioned various information that is now available on the digital space. Were there some, challenges or disadvantages that you faced, especially in your field, to the digital landscape?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's nothing that has advantage that does not have disadvantage except God. So the digital space, as much as it has been very, very helpful, it has also had its own disadvantages, especially to me personally, when it comes to like the design part of it, right? So first thing first, if you're not disciplined enough to manage your emotions, you can get easily depressed when you're in the digital space, even if you enter the digital space to learn. But when you start seeing people's design, when you say, I remember when I was coming up, not even, the funniest thing is, even from my surrounding, when I started seeing the designs of the likes of BS Olumide, BS Chesa Israel, um, bro, a lot of them that were in my space at that point in time, it made me feel like, can I actually learn this thing? Let alone then going into the digital space and seeing designs from places like Brazil. Brazil have like some of the best designers. Brazil, India, and some other countries. There are some countries that when you look at their designs, even Ghana, like when you look at their designs are always amazing. Not just because it is like normal designs, but they always infuse some form of 3D elements to it. So at some point I started feeling like this thing. I don't think this thing is my calling because I mean I'm not even good at corridor yet. And look at what people are creating with a software called Photoshop. At that point in time, Photoshop became very, very scary for me. Like I didn't learn Photoshop until I was like in 400 level during IT. And it was a fellow designer that taught me Photoshop. But before then, I was always scared of Photoshop because of what I always see people do with Photoshop. So it's one thing about the digital space that is like a disadvantage is number one, it can bring up competition, right? You are always comparing yourself with people. You're like it helps you. It might take away your thought process on knowing that this is actually a different path. Everybody's running different races, right? So you are just learning and you're supposed to be taking it one step at a time. So one thing about digital space, a major disadvantage, and it's not just for designers now, even for people in the fashion world or even everybody generally, you start comparing yourself unconsciously, like with the second person, and you had forgotten that nobody will put out their worst moment on the digital space. Nobody will put out their worst design on the digital space. Eh, Everybody's always putting out their best design. There are some designs that I've never posted online, not because it's not okay, but it's not my best work, right? Even pictures generally, like people will not post the picture of themselves just waking up from bed, like looking all tattered. They will always post something that probably for ladies, probably the person's already having makeup on face and stuff like that. Or even if it has to do with fashion, you'd see some of their best work being posted on their IG page and all. So that's one thing the digital space bring: comparison, competition, and it can lead to depression. So yeah.
That's very, very true. And just like you said, it's not just only for designers. I think it's also for, every other person. But how do you think we can effectively navigate this? Because I think it will keep on happening. All right. People will keep on putting their best moments on the digital space, right? But how do you think, as an individual, how do you think we can properly manage ourselves, manage our emotions, not to feel uh, pushed or forced to follow the trend?
Yeah, so one thing is, thank you for even mentioning something about trend. One thing as a designer, I'll first speak from the point of a designer, then I'll speak to the point of like a general level. One thing is, it starts from the mind, right? Because if you don't work on your personal mindset, anything can make you waver in your journey, right? If you don't work on your personal mindset, if you don't work on who you are from the inside, anybody will make you feel inferior. Even people that are even looking up to you, you'll feel inferior by them, right? So it starts from the mind. First of all, you need to understand that you are running a different race, a personal race. Like your design journey is personal. The fact that the next person like the person next to you is already doing amazing stuff in design does not mean that you also will not do amazing stuff in design. This is just where you are and you know where you're going to. So I think everybody should first have that mindset that we are all having or running a personal race. That's the first thing. Now, second thing is this: it's not all trends that you should jump into. Personally, for me, there are a lot of design trends that will come and I don't have the time for it. Like I don't even not even that I don't have the time for it. Sometimes I'm not just interested in it because I believe not all trends should be jumped into. So I believe trends should showcase your strengths and not your weaknesses. So for example, if a new trend comes out now and it's a dance trend and everybody is doing a particular dance, me that I don't know how to dance, I won't do that trend because if I start doing it, people start mocking me. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that my strong point is not dancing. I can dance in my brain, like I can think about good steps, but physically I can't dance. So I won't be able to like go into that trend. But you say a lot of people, a design trend will come out, and you know that you are not there in terms of the skill. You don't have the experience to execute such a design, be it a fashion design or graphics or motion or anything in general. You know you do not have the skill to execute. You do not have the experience to execute it. But because you see that every other designers are also jumping on the trend, and because you see that some of your boss are jumping on the trend, you also jump on it, and you now create something very, very terrible. And you know the funniest thing about trend is that no matter what you create, you would always go viral because there's already a level of virality to the trend itself. You understand? And that virality would show, if you're not good at it, it will show your weakness more to your clients or to your potential clients. So, for example, if I don't know much about motion graphics and there's a trend going on about people doing video on animation and stuff, and I also do mine, but mine is shabby, potential clients will see other people doing amazing stuff. And when they see you do something terrible, they automatically know that you do not have what it takes to be a motion designer. And automatically they rule you out of their mind when it comes to motion jobs. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to trends, it's not all trends that you should jump to. Only jump at trends that can showcase your strengths. If you know you are very strong at something, let's say podcasting now, you're strong at podcasting, and somebody say, okay, let's do a trend where people just talk about something on podcast and upload it, right? One would know that, okay, yeah, you are strong at that. You can do that. But if they say podcasting now and me, I want to jump on podcast trend, it won't go far. Even if it goes viral, it would only show my weakness. So I think that's basically how people can manage it. First of all, you need to work on your mindset. know that it is a personal race. We are all running a personal race. Nobody is better than you. You are not better than anybody. We are all in our own different space. Yes, you can get inspired by people online, but they also are passed through where the funniest thing is those people that you feel you are inspiring, they are also being inspired by someone else. Sometimes they also feel down that other people are doing better than them. There's this particular designer. His name is Dave as well. Dave Zayama on Instagram. The guy is like a big mentor to me. Something happened. I was able to like reach out to him, and we started gisting on IG. Then I found out that he also have some people that makes him feel like he has not started. And I was wondering, like, this person used to be someone like, is it him? I know there's no way. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody have those that they are looking up to, and those that are looking up to them, right? You just have to understand that we're all in different stages of life, and you just have to enjoy the experience. It's the experience you should enjoy, not the destination. It's the experience. So yeah, I think that would help everybody.
Yeah, I really agree with that. Now, you said something about a lot of people jumping on trend, and sometimes when they jump on trend, they are not even jumping on something they have that is their strength. All right. So I want you to talk about how do you see social media platforms impacting creativity? Has it been on a positive side? Because sometimes when you see some things that are trending, creativity is not absolute. So what somebody see as creative might not be the same thing other people are saying as creative. But you see, there are certain things that you see so much like, so much follows, and you see that this thing does not really make sense, right? So, but how do you see social media impacting creativity and maybe artistic expression?
Yeah, thank you. So I think one thing social media has done, it goes back to my first sentence, is that social media has leveled the playing ground. So one thing social media has done is, number one, it has helped you to be able to like reach out to other persons in your niche, right? People that in your wildest dream you will not be able to access on a normal day. Now you can access them, and I'm not talking about accessing them like talking to them. No, I'm talking about like seeing their works, seeing their processes and all. So that's one thing social media has done. Social media has helped you to be able to even connect with people, right? You can connect with anybody, no matter where you are in the world, you can connect with people. Now, social media has also made it in such a way that information is available. So, for example, now, myself, there are certain designs that it was through TikTok. It is as funny as that. It was through TikTok I was able to learn that new knowledge, right? So, one thing about me is, no matter the platform I'm in, I always make sure that the algorithm works for me. One thing about the algorithm is the moment you enter a platform for the first time, the algorithm will monitor you for like 1 week to see what you like and what you don't like. When it is that, okay, you like people dancing, you like people twerking or something like that, it will start feeding you twerk videos every time, twerk videos. But if you start liking, the moment you join, let's say TikTok, and you start liking stuffs on probably preaching or stuffs on animal documentary like I like, or designs and stuff like that, all of a sudden you start seeing content on those things you like, right? So that one thing about social media is it gives you the opportunity to see several things all at the same time, right? And as you are doing that, your own level of knowledge is growing. So the fact that one thing again is you mentioned that you see some people, they have hundreds of like, thousands of like, and whatever it is they are creating does not make sense. That's the beauty of social media. It's not like people don't know that thing is bad. Sometimes it just sometimes one thing about social media is, and that's why I always encourage people to always post, no matter what you are doing, always post, right? I mean, not like you post something bad, but always post whatever you're working on. If you have a video you just shot in your room, even if the video is just 30 seconds, just post. Because the thing of social media is virality is not determined by experience or proper execution of whatever it is you are doing. You can go viral on the craziest of things, on the simplest of things. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
There are some designs I have done that I'll post the design. I'll be like, this design, we'll see. I will see like probably 500 likes or something, and the design will not do more than 100. And there are some designs that I'll just do random designs, and I'm seeing 600, 700. What's happening? So that's one thing about social media. Social media gives you the option to go viral even when you have not done your best work. So I think that's just what I would just say there. It's just a leveling ground for everyone. It helps everyone to like get information, no matter the information. It dilutes information. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, right? But it dilutes information. You can get information from anything, from anywhere, and helps you to grow your knowledge, right? And it can help you go viral at any point in time. So that's what I would just say.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elzenitho. Thank you so much for that. I want to go back quickly to a discussion on trends. Have you felt pressured to condone certain trends or styles on social media? And now were you able to, balance or stay true to yourself? And of course, how did it, carry you away so that, people can just have a feel that they are not only the one being carried away, like they wanted to go to Facebook for something important, but they just saw one reel on Facebook, and from one reel to another reel, and you spend 2 hours not exactly doing what you want to go and do in the, in that space.
Okay. So I will just take it bit by bit. First, I will start with a trend that I entered due to peer pressure and how it worked out for me. Then I'll also talk about the trend that I did not enter and how I was able to do it that I didn't enter that trend. And then the final thing. So the first thing is this. One thing about trend, especially for designers, like it's very, very easy for you to want to jump on trends because you feel like, okay, yeah, this is what everybody is doing, and you should also try it. One trend that's really pressured me so much that even though I didn't want to do it, when I saw my colleagues, my counterparts also doing it, I just needed to, like, I just felt, okay, let me just do it to prove myself. I don't know what I'm proving myself for, but I just felt, let me just do it to prove myself. It was one particular competition very, very long time ago. The competition is, there's this person on IG, Life with Linda. She's always doing this competition, right? Amazing competition then. And at that point in time, the reason why I was pressured into the competition or into the trend is because number one, I didn't have anything I was doing. Like there was no clients, there was no fictional projects. I was just on my own, right? And I was feeling like kind of down at that point in time. So I just needed something to take my mind off it. Now I could have done something else other than that trend, other than that competition, right? At the end of the day, the competition came out so bad. And one thing about competition is one of the reasons why I don't like participating in competition is people automatically, when they see the first and second and third, the rest of you that compete or that participated in that stuff, there's this feeling that comes with it, like probably you're not good enough, and that really spoils. It really brought down my self-esteem that during that period, right? Because I felt I put in my best into this thing, but again, when you start seeing other people's work, you also would know that it's not like you're that good. You understand? And when you start harboring that kind of thought, before you know it, you can't really express yourself design wise because you feel people will start judging you, or you're not good enough, or you need to still learn before you can post. And that time it affected me so much that I will do some designs, but I will not post it because I feel it's not good enough. And thank God I was able to like quickly tackle that, because again, there's no design or there's no content that is not good enough to be posted, especially in this day and age. There's no design or content that is not good enough to be posted. So long as you've done it, post it, right? So long as you've done it, just post it. And so that was one of those things that really affected me then, trying to jump on something even when I was not prepared, and it started affecting me mentally. And then the other one was when there was this popular design trend that was going on Twitter here. I think that was like some months back. That trend was so heavy, like I have a particular Telegram channel that I am in, and almost everybody there they were doing the trend, and I was like, it now felt like if I don't do that trend, I'm not a Nigerian designer, because it was a Nigerian thing, right? It was going so viral, like you would have seen it on Twitter. Everybody was doing that design. All of a sudden, I almost give into it, but you know what helped me was number one, I was busy. I was really busy. I was watching a video from one of my boss, Mustafa Kayode, and he was saying something about the fact that you must never be idle at some point, at any point, because the moment you are idle, you harbor certain thoughts, like certain certain things you're not supposed to add abo. So at that point in time, I knew that I didn't want to join this trend. But my saving grace was the fact that I was busy doing something else. I was busy working on a fictional design, right? And I was also doing some client jobs. So assuming I was not busy and I started ruminating over the fact that other designers are doing these things, I would definitely have given into it. So I think one thing that can help us in general is at no point should you let your mind be idle. Even if you're not, just like picking from the video I watched, even if you're not working on a project at that point in time, you can be reading. Even if it's a Bible, it's normally a book, or you're sketching, or you're writing down your thoughts or something, you must always have something you're doing, right? Because if you're not doing anything, you can easily get pressured into doing what you're not supposed to do. Same thing with addiction. Addiction, one thing, the way addiction works is addiction means you're always doing something you like, even if that thing is detrimental to your health. The best way to attack addiction is by bringing in another form of addiction. So, for example, if you are someone that the moment you wake up like this, you are jumping to take Coca-Cola or Pepsi, right? Just like me, like 2 years ago, any small thing, I'm always drinking Pepsi and Coke. And all of a sudden, thank God for Aproko doctor that started this challenge. And after that challenge, I started challenging myself 1 year, 2 years. Now I'm going to like, it's more than 2 years now that I've tasted anything carbonated. So one thing about addiction is whatever it is you're addicted to, you have to replace it, right? So instead of Coke or Fanta, I replaced it with water. Now, anywhere I go to, like if you see me anywhere, if you don't see bottle of water with me, that is not me. It's as simple as that. So if you see that you are getting addicted to something, you have to replace it with something else, or else you will fall back to your addiction. So same thing with your mind. You have to make sure that your mind is idle. If your mind is not idle, you can easily get sucked into unnecessary trends, unnecessary competitions, unnecessary comparison, and stuff like that. But if your mind is idle or you are busy doing something, you won't have time to be thinking of any other thing. So I think that can really help us in terms of like navigating social media disadvantages. Just make sure that you're getting busy. Even with social media addiction, just make sure you're getting busy, or else you'll get stuck into it. So yeah, that's basically it.
All right. So thank you so much, Elzenitho. And I want to also appreciate everybody that are joining us on this talk show. Thank you so much for joining in. If you have any question, you can just put it on the chat. We'll definitely take it. So, Elzenitho, before I move to the next conversation, of course, this particular question, we took some sample questions from people right before we started this talk. And one person asked, Daniel, I want to put down his full name. I left the question in the there. He said that let me read exactly what he said. He said, how can I do to leave the things of this world? All right. So I guess this person must be really, really addicted to social media and he just wants to do away with it. All right. So how do you think this Daniel can do away with social media? I guess what he meant by the things of this world is maybe social media.
Okay. Yeah. Social media is not the things of this world. Social media is just a platform to access either godly things or things of the world. So let me just clarify that. But I think before we go there, let's talk about how do you know you're addicted to social media? Number one, I think the major way to know if you're addicted to social media is if the moment you open your two eyes that God gave you, the first thing that came to your mind is what is happening today on Twitter, or what is happening today on Facebook, or what is happening today on IG. If that's the first thing that crossed your mind, believe me or not, like it's very, very unhealthy if that's the first thing you think about as a human being. And I'm not even talking in terms of like spirituality or anything now, but if that's like the first thing, before you even think of brushing your teeth or anything, the first thing you think of is what is happening online. So that's like the first thing. If you know that you are in that category, you just automatically know that. I mean, it might not be so serious because probably you have some sort of discipline to like manage it. But if that's the first thing you think about, immediately you open your eyes, you might be addicted to social media. Then also, if you are constantly checking your social media, even in inappropriate situations, like for example, you are probably working, they gave you a task at work, and instead of doing the task, your mind is going to social media. Like, let me check Twitter, what's the latest gist, what's the latest stuff. You might be addicted to social media. If you have a feeling of anxiety the moment there's no network, you might be addicted. Like if MTN just misbehave and they their network just misbehave as usual, and you cannot access WhatsApp or you cannot access Instagram or you cannot access Twitter for like 30 minutes, and you start feeling anxiety. I'm not talking about being concerned. There's a difference between being concerned and being anxious. If you start feeling anxiety, like serious anxiety, like oh my god, I need to check what's happening, then you might be addicted to social media. And the last thing I would say, like a form of checkpoints, is if you start neglecting like real life responsibility, like you are always, let's say for example, you are supposed to probably wash the dishes or you are supposed to wash your clothes, and you notice that you have put your clothes down to wash, but all of a sudden, the moment you hold your phone, 2 hours has gone. That one, you're already addicted, right? So when you start neglecting real life responsibility or real life conversations, or you're always like you don't want to talk to somebody physically, but you want to talk to somebody virtually and all that, then you might be addicted. So, but talking about the question that the person asked, I think social media being a platform, um, is not one thing about the digital world is you fight digital problems with digital solutions, right? It's just like spiritual problems. You fight spiritual problems with spiritual solutions. So digital problem must be fought with digital solution. First off, before you even go into digital solutions, you need to be able to like work on your discipline. If you as a person is not disciplined, it's not even social media that will bring you down. Little things will bring you down, right? So you need to work on your discipline. You must be able to tell yourself that okay, I want to do this thing today, and you must work at it. If you can't, if you are not able to maintain such discipline, you can't really go far, right? Because you can easily procrastinate your future. Like you can easily give give up on certain things because you do not have discipline. You are not strong enough to like tell yourself that okay, do this, you must do that and all. But if you are able to like work on your discipline, the next thing you want to start doing is number one, you need to like set boundaries, right? For digital activities. When you see that okay, you're already addicted to these things, you must set your boundaries. You must know when you want to unplug yourself from social media, right? There's something they used to say, they used to call digital detoxing. I don't know if you've heard of that thing. And the digital detoxing is when you just take like a break from social media for like probably what was it called, for like a week or 2 weeks. Some people are so strong that they can go offline for a week. Nothing will happen. At that point in time, you know that person has mastered social media, right? Because again, social media is a platform, is a tool. You are not supposed to be used by it. You are supposed to use it. And the moment you feel, oh, this thing, I'm spending too much time using social media, you can drop it. But if you have not gotten to that page, to that stage where you can drop it, it's best, number one, to start setting boundaries. And how do you set boundaries? By using apps like screen time control, right? Where you tell your phone that, okay, when it is so time and so time, turn off everything and be disciplined enough to follow through. Because again, it's not a matter of how do I put it? It's not a matter of prayer. If you're not disciplined, no prayer will help you turn off your phone. You still carry your phone out and watch whatever you want to watch if you're not
True.
disciplined. So you need to set that boundaries for yourself. Then also you need to practice mindfulness. So being mindful means you are conscious of your environment. You are conscious of people around you. So some people don't know the color of their TV. I'm telling you, it's as bad as that. Like you're just watching your TV, or you're just in an environment, but you don't even know what is in that environment. You don't know if there's a lizard walking across you, or you don't know if there is a scorpion around, or there's a spider web, or probably you don't even know what is happening in your environment because you are not mindful. And that's the problem with social media. The moment you spend too much time on social media, you become less mindful of your real environments and more mindful of your virtual environments. So as a person, you need to practice mindfulness. How do you practice it? By meditating. Drop your phone for like an hour. Just meditate. Either by just sitting still and just focusing on yourself and just relaxing your mind and experiencing the atmosphere. Because the more you do that, the more it helps you to like, stay calm and be able to like understand things around you. And when you're doing that, it's going to also affect your creativity, because that way you are able to think true. You're able to think calmly. Creativity does not thrive in stress. You can't be stressed and be creative. It's not possible. You have to be very, very calm. And social media does not help you to be calm, especially if you are someone that spend a lot of hours on TikTok. It's very, very detrimental because it reduces your attention span. TikTok is just, there are some videos on TikTok that the moment it is passing 30 seconds, you are not interested again, you just swipe.
Sure.
And that kills your attention span. Now you can't even watch a video on YouTube without speeding through, without like jumping through and all. You just want to know what is at the end. And that is not really good for anyone that is like trying to grow, because you must have a very, very good attention span. So I would say that if you are always spending a lot of hours on TikTok, you should reduce it, because TikTok itself would reduce your attention span. Spend more time. If you want to watch videos, spend more time on YouTube and sit through the whole process or the whole discussion or the whole talk, right? And also try your best again. Like I said, set boundaries for yourself. Engage in other things. Engage in hobbies like writing. Some people have not written in years. Some people, they've not carried a jotter like this to write their thoughts. They always use phone to write thoughts. Like, just drop your phone, write your thoughts, engage in other things, like go outside, touch grass, like they used to say. Touch grass, talk to people. Some people, they don't know how to approach the opposite gender, because their life is always virtual. They have always been chatting. So, but when you see them, when they see, I used to have that issue. When I see somebody physically, even after we have had interesting conversation, I don't know what to say, because I've been so used to the virtual environment. So I think we should really, really practice mindfulness, engaging in physical hobbies, and setting boundaries where we set down our phone for some hours. Let us breathe. You understand? I think that will really help us. And then do other things that would, help our spirituality. That can also help us as well. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elzenitho. That's very wonderful, especially when you talked about mindfulness. I have personally observed that many of us, we really do not practice mindfulness, being present to our environment. For me, sometimes I just love to take a walk and see where I drive to every day. All right. Because, sometimes, I don't know, maybe it has happened to some of us listening, that somebody will ask us for a place in our locality where we are living, in our community or in our street. And that place is in our street, and you've never heard of that place before.
Exactly.
All right. You just want, and interestingly, you might even be passing that place every day, and you've never seen that signboard before. And right, but you see, as simple as this thing is, dropping your phone, writing. All right, people might feel like, we are in the digital age. What's the essence of writing when you can, in fact, it's even one thing for you to write now. These days, if you can even use voice notes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, use voice note, and the thing will type it for you. Right. So, but thank you so much for that wonderful piece. I want us to really talk a bit about mental health. All right. We've heard about people going crazy, and not crazy, but crazy because of what they've seen on social media. People, and even news. I was listening to one interview, maybe not to interview. There was this particular book, I've forgotten the name of this guy, that wrote concerning Buhari, President Buhari. Vice President Oshibajo was talking about it, but he was talking about social media and information that flies on the internet. And he shared about a particular video that, happened in India, 5-story building, and there was fire in the roof. And people are now jumping down from the roof, from the, 5th story and 5th floor, and people were jumping down. And somebody put it on social media that, people jumping down from Abuja. All right. And a lot of people, started attacking the government, started attacking people, where are the firefighters, where are the fire brigades, something like that, without even cross-checking the authenticity of that information, right? So I want you to talk about the negative impact of excessive social media, especially on our mental health, how people think, how people sustain a level of thinking. And thank you for mentioning something. By the time you start watching reels on Facebook, 90 seconds, reels on YouTube are 30 seconds. All right, and that's, if you are so much engrossed in watching reels, it forms a kind of mentality to you that, okay, within 30 seconds, 90 seconds, 60 seconds, I should have gotten the information I need from this particular video, and that would, affect our attention span. So I know maybe we could just talk about, social media and mental health.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think major mental issues that are in this generation starts from social media, like especially for our generation, right? Sometimes it's not just about comparison. Sometimes it is about the fear of missing out. Some of us, before, we don't even have anything that is disturbing us other than clamagelini and all those things. Like, what are we eating today? What are we doing today and all. But the moment social media came into play, right, this fear of missing out started playing out. And what is it? When you start seeing your mates doing amazing stuff, and you are probably in a stage where probably things are not really working out for you. Especially, the funniest thing, the most depressing one is when you see someone that is far younger than you, doing exactly what you are doing, but doing it better and more successful. Hey, Jesus, that is very, very deep. There's a particular time last 2 years, there's this guy, he's 19. He's probably like 21 now. 19-year-old, is a designer, right? The guy is doing so well. Like, he's not just doing graphics, he's doing graphics, animation, exactly what I would do, right? Like, but he's also doing it so well that he's earning in dollars. He has clients everywhere in the world, blah blah blah, and all that. It's not like, what's happening? Like, is it that this guy is probably because he's from a rich home, or is it because he's just lucky or something? I started comparing myself, right? I started fearing this. I started having this fear of missing out, like, or have I passed my prime and stuff like that. It was just by God's grace and the fact that I was able to talk to myself that I'm on a different level. I'm on a different race. Like, we're all having our own personal race. But again, social media has caused a lot of mental health issues, right? It's not, except probably once to lie to ourselves. It's one of the leading issue that leads to mental health. Number one, it can be due to like information overload. Sometimes when you have too much information, you end up doing nothing. Let's say, for example, you have like, you want to probably design something, then you start looking at options online. At the end of the day, you might spend up to like 4 hours looking at option, looking at inspiration, so much that you get tired, you can't do anything again. I don't know if it has happened to anybody. Like, you want to do something, you go online for information, for ideas, but you spend the entire day looking for ideas to the point that when you now want to do that thing, you don't have the strength for it. That was one. Then also, like I have mentioned, social comparison. You're always comparing yourself. And one thing that has helped me, I think what helped me that probably might not be so serious to other people, but that thing really changed my mindset, was when I have this friend, right? And every time she posts, her post is always going like very, very viral. She's always harnessing a lot of likes and stuff. But I know this person, like, we used to see ourselves almost every time. So how is it that this person is always, But then that's when it now dawned on me that people don't post their worst work, or people don't post their self when they're in their down stage, or when they are in their normal stage. In fact, it's only when they are in their best stage, and also when they are in their touched up stage. There's best stage, there's touched up stage. So best stage is probably you are doing something amazing, and probably you got the recognition and you post it, and people are appreciating you, congratulating you. And when touched up stage is probably you did a design, instead of just posting the flyer, you 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 place this flyer on your screen, then you snap your screen. That's like a touched up stage. So people are not just admiring your flyer, they're also admiring your setup, stuff like that. So I noticed that people don't post when they are normal, like when they are in their normal stage, or even when they are down. Nobody, if you go on Instagram, you will not see anybody looking normal. Everybody's either looking spectacular, or their design is actually looking too nice and stuff like that, right? It's only in the design space that you even see people show you creative like process. Although nowadays some ladies are now doing get ready with me and all that, whereby you show your room and how rough it can be and all those things. No, I don't really subscribe to that, but it's part of it. But yeah, social media has led to a lot of mental health issues. Even with when it comes to like digital multitasking, like you are on you are on LinkedIn, you are on Twitter, you are on TikTok, you are on everything. Like you are jumping from seconds to seconds and all that. It can help. Like it can affect you mentally. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it can really, really affect you mentally. And this has really, really like caused a lot of damage to people. Some people, they experience like cyberbullying, even on this social media. And because of that cyberbullying, they either harm themselves or they go out and harm others and all that. But again, one thing we can do as individuals to not be under the bondage of like social media, especially with respect to mental health, is number one, we have to see mental health as an issue on its own. I don't think Nigeria understand mental health as an issue. I think Nigerians, we just play along with it like, I'm just feeling a bit down today. Tomorrow I'll get better. Like, we don't really see it like a major thing that needs to be talked about. Like, if I tell somebody that I'm feeling depressed now, the person will probably think I don't have money, or probably I lost someone or something. Like, they don't see it as I can be depressed from just seeing somebody else being successful, right?
Mm.
And that's actually one of the easiest way to get depressed, when you are not doing well for yourself, and you then start seeing people doing well, and instead of appreciating the fact that they are doing well and probably it is almost your turn, you will not go through that route. You start feeling bad, you start comparing yourself and all. So yeah, social media has really, really caused a lot of like havoc when it comes to like mental health. But again, it goes back to me saying that, number one, you need to detox yourself of social media, especially with fake news and stuff. There was a particular time that so many news were running about on Twitter. This issue of, now this is not even fake news, right? This issue of kidnapping, someone dying, and all those things. There was one particular night that I was just watching all those news, and I started having feeling of panic attack. Like, as Steve, I was going to have panic attack. And all I needed to do is just go offline for about 3 hours and go and play Call of Duty. And I came back to my I came back to my normal self. Because again, you might not know, but the more whatever it is you look upon, it affects you. Like, it affects you. I don't know how to explain it, but it affects you. So if you're always if all through your day, morning to evening, you are just watching news and all you are seeing is people dying, something bad happening, Naira is falling, government is bad, somebody died, somebody killed his wife, somebody killed her husband, somebody raped somebody. If that's all you're seeing from morning to night, there's no way you have a good night's sleep, because your mental health is already being attacked, because all you are seeing from morning to night is negativity. Now, I'm not saying those news should not be heard, right? But as a person, you should learn to know when to detox yourself from negative news. You should learn to know when to just stay offline. Like, okay, this thing is happening, but it is not what I need at this point in time. And sometimes I just go on TikTok and I just go and look for. There's this particular old lady that she talks about awful things that are happening in the world, like things that are, there are some videos that will tell you stories about things, something happening to someone that is good and all that. And sometimes that's all you just need to watch, and you just feel better. Then you just go offline. So again, it has to do with you personally taking your mental health very serious. That's one. Putting strategies in place to not allow social media affect your mental health, because again, it can affect it even beyond normal thing like not having money. Social media can affect your health badly. And the funniest thing is you might not even know until you start playing out. So first thing first, set boundaries on digital usage. This is very, very important, because if you don't set boundaries, you can get burnout, right? It can affect your work-life balance. You will not be able to manage your life. You're always online. You're not working well. You're not productive in the office. You're not productive at home. Also, you can also seek support, right? If you know that, for anyone that is probably having mental health issues, one thing about mental health is, number one, it gets better when you start talking, when you start telling someone. I remember when I was having some funny thoughts last year, when I was really, really going through some very, very tough times. And all I needed to do was just talk to somebody. And, I got a bit relieved. Then I started taking walks. Again, these solutions are all around us. We just need to, tap into it. I started taking walks. Like, I would just leave my house. I'll just walk like 30 minutes and I'll feel refreshed when I come back. because I get to see people living their life. I get to see the environment, the atmosphere, birds flying, the sound of the sound of nature, everything. My mind just became very, very calm and cool. So one thing you can do if you're feeling down is, number one, you have to talk to somebody. You can't do it on your own. You are the one that is feeling depressed. You can't go out of depression yourself. You have to first talk to somebody. Then also you have to seek help, right? Then also, if you're already feeling this form of mental depression, you need to stay out of social media, because social media would always have triggers, right? It would definitely have triggers. So if you're someone that's probably your mind is just doing bish bish because you have been filled with negativity, like you have been seeing negative news up and down, you have no business on social media. Take a break from social media for like probably a week. Don't do anything. You can always respond on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is a controlled social media, right? WhatsApp is only what you have allowed. That is your contact. But anything like Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, stay away from it for a while and only focus on things that would help you to, manage your health. So I think that's what I'll just say.
All right. Thank you so much, Elzenitho. I really appreciate, conversation sense. And I believe a lot of people, especially and those that will be listening after now, will have so much to, take home. I have a question here from Tiana. She said, as someone whose work is related to getting information from social media as a source of income, people into crypto, right? Is there any way to minimize social media grip? All right. So I don't know if you could respond to that.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
hear the question?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm also into crypto. I also trade once in a while, but I did on a Toki, and I trade using Bybit. I think that's like the latest thing running now, and I don't trade on my own because I'm not good. I use there's this person, I don't know if you know, there's this guy that is Hebo. He's always talking about he's always talking sensible stuff. So he created a Telegram on Bybit and stuff. But yeah, don't let me digress. As someone that is into crypto, right? It's very, very easy for you to even navigate social media, because number one, the crypto space, except probably you want to be going online to just probably join crypto groups, like conversations where they have like talks and stuff. Aside that, majorly what you need is just what's it called? Information about the market, right? And there are certain ways to get information about the market without necessarily being on social media 24/7. Even your app itself, whichever app you're using to trade, except probably you're trading with third-party app like all this MetaTrader and all. Aside that, but even other apps, like if you're using like all these wallets, all these app that always come with news and stuff, you can use those news to help you navigate what is happening in the market without necessarily going on social media. Also, I believe if you're a trader, you will definitely have a group that you are in that is always feeding you with information of what is happening. You can limit, by the time you feel like, okay, probably social media is becoming too much on your mental health, you can limit your conversation or your social media journey to just your app, that's your trading app, and also to your group. Anything outside that, you know that, okay, you're not doing that, right? Again, it's very, very easy because yours is basically on crypto news, and those news are actually confined to certain areas. There are certain places you know that, okay, you just go to and you get access to news. Or another thing you can do is, let's say, for example, wherever it is you listen to news from is on Twitter, and you know that the moment you open Twitter, you get tucked into a lot of discussion. What you can do is just set notifications on that particular, on that particular platform or that particular handle, so that whenever that handle posts, you get notified that, oh, this handle has posted, and you know, okay, it's about crypto. Then you can click on it and look at it. When you are done looking at it, you log out again, right? And I do that a lot for although this one is more spiritual, I do that a lot for spiritual posts. So, for example, if I'm expecting somebody to post something on like a message or a preaching, I already have the person on notified. Like, I already clicked on the notification button of that person. So anytime that person posts anything, and the person is Apostle Irene, anytime that person posts anything, my message will come in that this person has posted, and I just automatically click on it and it opens, and I read what I want to read, or I watch what I want to watch, and I go out again. So you can do that as well. You can streamline your social media journey using notifications. Again, like I said, digital problems will be solved with digital solutions. So we have notification box that you can use. That would help you to navigate social media without necessarily seeing other things that you're not supposed to see. So I hope that helps. See.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. And to add to what Elzenitho said, there is something that is called the Pomodoro technique. Is a productivity stuff, and basically it's just talking about allocating blocks of time to certain things you want to do. So, for example, you know that your workspace is, social media. Okay, for example, Tiana is maybe into crypto, but let's say, for example, somebody who is a social media manager, right? And you manage people's social media platforms, and you just have to be there to post, to create content for those social media platforms. So basically, what you could do is to set blocks of time for what you want to do. So you will be on social media maybe for 3-4 hours because that is your work, right? Because that is your work. But the Pomodoro technique actually said that you set 25 minutes to do certain things and 5 minutes break. All right. After 25 minutes, you take a break of 5 minutes. After another 25 minutes, you take a break of 5 minutes. So what you could just do is to allocate maybe 2-3 hours for this particular side of social media. And majorly because that is your source of income. And I think that would really help, just to corroborate what Elzenitho has said. Elzenitho, I want us to start rounding up, but I want us to round up on leveraging technology for good, and I would pick this conversation from Joe Mike's question. He has 2 questions. So he said with billions of pieces of content being shared daily across various platforms, how can one create content that stand out and engaging the audience effectively? And let me see the second question. He said, what are the key strategies and practices that successful content creators employ to consistently attract millions of views within a short period of time? So maybe you could take the first question and I will read the second question to you again.
Okay, please, can you read the first question again?
Okay, he said with billions of pieces of content shared. Sorry, let me take that again. With billions of pieces of content being shared daily across various platforms, how can one create content that stands out and engage with the audience effectively?
All right, thank you very much. So I mentioned something when we started. I said, in the day and age that we are in right now, you can go viral for anything, so long as you are authentic. Like, you can go viral for like literally anything, right? So again, one thing you need to go back to is your authenticity, right? So whatever it is you are posting has to be unique. Now, I'm not saying unique like probably you have to come up with a new idea. No, you can do what everybody have been doing, but in your own way, right? So for example, let's say for example you are someone that talk, like you're a podcaster, or you like giving people ideas, or you like just encouraging people. You can do it in such a way that it is only applicable to you. Like, it is only you that can do it, so to say, before every other person catches up with it. Now, again, one thing about content out there is no matter how many billions of content are out there, posts will still go up and posts will still go viral. And the reason why some posts go viral is because, number one, they are authentic, and number two, they meet the needs of people. So again, and they also, again, there are strategies actually to be able to like gather posts, gather virality or gather likes and stuff like that. But all those things are more technical. So for example, I'm going to start with the first one: be authentic. Be authentic in the sense that whatever it is you want to do, try your possible best to be as real as possible. There's one thing about social media that the moment you start watching a video, you can know if it's going to be cringy or if you will like it, if it is real. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but the moment you just open a video and the person starts talking, or you start watching a particular video, you automatically know if this video would be cringy or if this video is something you want to watch to the end. And how do you know that? Number one, if the person is not doing too much, right? You're not trying to do too much, or you're not trying to overdo it. I don't know how to explain it, but it depends on each person's like personality. If your personality is such a way that, okay, you're you just flow with information, or you just flow with gist and stuff like that. You can use that like for your own advantage in passing a particular information. So number one, you have to be very, very authentic. Number two, you have to touch people's needs. So for example, if I'm scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and somebody's talking about let me see, somebody's talking about fashion, how to sew or how to do one thing or the other, definitely I'll scroll past because I don't know anything about fashion like that. Like I'm not a fashion designer, right? So again, you need to know what people are interested in, like learning. There's a particular website. Sorry, just give me a minute. Let me check. Okay, now this website is called Answer the Public. Now, if you type in Answer the Public, it's a listening tool, right? It's going to give you, when you open it, right, it's going to like come up like a platform. Then you can search based on your niche. For example, if you're in design, I can just type in graphic design. Then it's going to give me a lot of questions that people are asking on either any form of social media. So if it's on TikTok, if you click on TikTok and you press graphic design, it will tell you questions that people are asking on TikTok based on graphic design, so that I'll be able to then manage the content I'm doing, right? And as I'm managing it, as I'm creating that content based on that question, I am also using hashtag on that content so that the right people will then see it. So if you're able to do that, again, like I said, majority of these things are more technical than otherwise, right? Because again, if you are being authentic and you're also doing what people want, if you're not doing the technical part of it, like the technical part of being viral, you might not go viral. So you need to understand algorithm of the platform you're working with. If you're someone that probably you're on TikTok, you need to understand that number one, there are certain times you can post. For example, now I always post on IG a lot. I have I have the timeline for IG. Like there's a timeline where you can post and where you cannot post, and I have it. So anytime I'm about to post, right? So for example, let me check. Just give me a minute. So I have best time to post here. And on Monday, the best time to post on Monday is 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and 1 p.m. Why 5 a.m.? People are just waking up to go to work. Not waking up, but they are getting ready to go to work, or they are currently on the road trying to take their mind off work and just scrolling through media. 11 and 12, 11 a.m., 12 p.m., people are on their break for the day, right? They are having probably their 1 hour break or 30 minutes break. Oh, let me check online what's happening. 1 p.m., people are just running off break. You get. So anything after that, if you post on Monday, like around probably 2 p.m., 3 p.m., you might not get the likes that you need because people are really, really into work. They're about to close for the day. So they are really, really into work. And if you post around night, like 8 p.m., nobody will really look at it because everybody's trying to like relax and get ready for the day. Yeah. So you need to understand the platform you are posting on and how it works, or else you will just be struggling and posting and posting. Again, sometimes it can just be based on sheer luck, but majorly it has to be when you're authentic, right? You're very, very authentic. You are original. Your content is original. If you're posting about a particular discussion, post it in the way you would say it. Don't try to mimic anybody. Don't try to be like anybody. There are certain people that they'll watch a YouTuber the way he talks and they will mimic the way he talks, but they don't know that it's actually detrimental to their own image, because people that already know that YouTuber, especially if it's a viral YouTuber, they automatically see that you're trying to mimic, or you're trying to be somebody else, and automatically that's a zero, because nobody will want to stay with someone that is not real or someone that is not original. So first, you need to be authentic. Secondly, you need to know what people are asking for, and that's a very, very powerful one. So if you can use that to answer the public, always use that to like check that answer to the public. It can help you streamline it, because you can choose the platform you are in, the social media platform, be it IG, Facebook. Then you can also see questions that people are asking based on your niche or based on your specialization. If you're able to then do that before you can post, so make sure that when you want to post, it is the best time to post on that particular platform. The time to post on IG is different from the time to post on Twitter. So you need to go online and research. You would actually, when you type it, best time to post on IG, you will see it. Best time to post on Twitter, you will see it. Best time to post on YouTube, you will see it, depending on your location. All those information, you might not think it is necessary, but it is actually very, very necessary. Like I saw how it changed the way I post, right? at some point, I usually think that okay, if I post in the midnight on all social media, it will just work. It's a lie. It's a big lie. Sometimes if you post by 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., all the likes you should have gathered between midnight and that morning, you gather it in 30 minutes. It's like it has worked for me severally. So you need to understand your platform, and if you're able to do that, no matter the billions of content out there, yours will still shine. And to that's basically it. What's the second question, please?
I guess you must have answered the second question. Is like the first. It says that what are the key strategies and practices that successful content creators employ to consistently attract millions of views within a short period of time? So I guess you must have,
Yeah, and also since I think I mentioned most of those strategies, but again, I would like to really emphasize on social media, on what's it called, hashtag. Hashtag is a very, very underrated tool that most people are not using. Like a lot of people are not using hashtag. The maximum hashtag you can use on IG is 30. Nothing stops you in using 30 hashtag. Like just post hashtag. Hashtag, let's say for example, you posted a video about fashion. Hashtag fashion, hashtag photo of the day, hashtag Insta photo, hashtag Insta fashion. Just post it. You know, there are a lot of sites out there that just type in hashtag to use for my social media posts. So it will give you the difference. It will streamline it for you. I use that a lot. Like a lot. I don't even know, but I use that a lot. And that's one thing that actually helped my brand name. Because one thing is Elzenitho was not really so popular because again, it's not a common name. So what I did was I wanted to make sure that the moment anybody type Elzenitho, it would bring out all my works. So if you go on Google now and you just type Elzenitho, you will see my face, you'll see my work. And how did I do that? Hashtag. Anytime I want to post anything, no matter where I'm posting it, be it LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X, or Twitter, no matter what I am posting, it might not even be a design, it might not be a video, it might just be my text. Like I just wrote out something on Twitter, I will always put hashtag Elzenitho because it is like your digital footprint, right? So that anytime anybody type in Elzenitho on Google, no matter what it is, you will definitely see my content. And another thing I do is I used to put lately now, I put in my design hashtag Nigeria designer or Nigeria designer. So that when you go on Google and you type in designers in Nigeria or photo manipulators in Nigeria, you will see my design. There's no way you will see my design. And that's the power of hashtag. It might be very minute, but it goes a long way. Some people on Instagram, they are not following people, they are following hashtag. And you'll be surprised. Some people when you start up any platform, I don't know if you remember, they will tell you to pick your interest. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. So those interests they are picking, you're not just picking interests, you are picking hashtags, right? So let's say I pick interest on football and somebody's always posting football and is always using hashtag football. No matter what, I will always see that person's post. It might not be every day, but the posting post would always come up at some point in time. I will definitely see the person's post. So that's one of the tools that I have been using and that's working for me. I've always been using hashtag a lot. There's no post I will do that will not put hashtag. There's no post at all because I want to make sure that people know that it is my own, right? And whenever you search my name, you will definitely see something that I've done. So I think that would help you as well. So you should really, like focus on your hashtag, get the proper hashtag that can work for you. And also, like I said, be authentic about it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Elzenitho. I really appreciate our conversation today. And just to add to what you've said, consistency is the key. All right. Keep on doing it. Keep on staying through it. Keep on posting. Post. I mean, it might not really happen within a short period of time. Just like Elzenitho said, that anything can really go viral. But right. But if it is an authentic content, it may take some time, but one thing you just understand about it is that as long as you are consistent, you will definitely get it done. All right. So, Elzenitho, I will just ask this last one briefly so that you also, give us a final note so that we can call this what should we call it now? Call it a day. Right. The day is just starting. right? So I want you to, just tell us, what do you see ahead? What do you see ahead of the digital landscape? What do you see ahead of the digital age? What do you see ahead of social media? What do you think? Do you think there is going to be a shift in our perspective of how we interact with technology?
Oh yeah. So I think it's going to get more scary. I'm not scaring anybody, but it's going to really, really get scary because social media is having more disadvantage than advantage as we're getting into the AI age, or we have even entered the AI age, right? You might be chatting with somebody and you don't know the person is a bot, like BOT bot. And you can be chatting with somebody that even is not a bot, but the conversation is not, the person is not conversing with you at that point in time. The person is just using robots to respond with you. And you think you're having good communication with that person, but the person is not even there with you. So one thing about social media is it is going to keep what's it called, expanding, because again, technology would always grow. That's just how it is. But again, I think what we can do as individuals is to know how we can first of all protect ourselves, or first of all know what is achievable or what is attainable on social media space, then know how we can protect ourselves. At the moment now, AI is running things like, at the moment you can clone people's voice. You can see a video that has been shot before. You can download that video and change the person's face using deepfake. It's like, or you can just clone the person's voice, and instead of the person, let's say, like for example, this one recent video of Obama that was going viral, that he was talking, but what he was saying was something very, very illegal, right? But what he actually said in the original video is different from what they twisted. So stuff like that are already coming up on the social media space, and it's becoming more easy for anybody to be able to be able to achieve that kind of level. Same thing with every other space. Like AI is already taking charge of certain things. Like, for example, for you doing podcast now, on a normal day before, because I used to do YouTube once in a while. Before, when I edit my YouTube, when I like record a video, I would extract the audio from the video, then I'll start editing it, removing noise, removing all those things. Like, it would take me like several minutes and up to an hour to edit the audio alone. But now there are tools online, free tools that you can use to just fine-tune your video. There's one called podcast.ai. There's one that is Adobe.
Yeah,
Adobe,
Adobe Podcast.
Adobe Podcast, and several other stuff like that. So as someone that is creative, right, what you want to do is find a way to use AI to your advantage, so that, let's say for example, because without AI you have always been producing 2 designs or 2 contents per week. With AI you should be able to produce like 5 contents, because so many things have been simplified for you. So hours that you would have spent on editing your video or your audio, or on creating certain form of design, you can automatically create it using AI, and it will save you a lot of time. And that's what a lot of people do not want to understand. They don't want to understand that AI is just a tool, and you are supposed to use that tool to your advantage. You're not supposed to fight the tool, right? You're supposed to use the tool to your advantage. So that's what I would just like to say. The space is going to be growing gradual. Like, it's even going to grow at a very, very crazy rate. I don't know if you have heard of Sora.ai. That text to video generator that OpenAI they're currently creating. That stuff is very, very crazy and scary. Like, imagine you just type in a man eating jollof rice. Something that on a normal day to record would have taken a company in a budget of probably like 150K, 200K to get somebody to prepare the jollof rice, to be eating the jollof rice, to use a good camera. Now you can use AI in less than a few seconds to just generate that video without spending anything. Although the software, the tool has not been released yet, but they have been showing like the possibilities. Now imagine that kind of stuff is released. So many things would just like we should just be ready to like accept this change. Anybody that's not ready to adapt would be left behind. And it's as simple as that. You just have to understand that this tool is a tool. You are supposed to use it as a creative person, right? Same thing with social media. There are certain social media platforms that will start coming up, that you will not even be doing much. It might even just be voice note that you just put out there, and the voice note will transform into posters, transform into video. It's help you generate something, or you will have your own avatar and people can relate to your avatar and stuff like that. We might get to that stage where people are not having genuine conversations again. I mean, we already have IG, Facebook, and yet people don't have conversations. You are not talking to people in real life, let alone when we now have this power to have like avatars where you can somebody else can talk on your behalf with your own voice, with your own look and everything, right? So again, it boils down to the fact that you need to know how to master social media. If you don't know how to master social media, you might get stuck into it. You might get engrossed by the entire thing. You might get overwhelmed. But if you're able to master it, definitely, I mean, you'll scale through. So that's basically what I would like to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Elzenitho. Thank you so much. I mean, this conversation has really been interesting for me. I remember when we spoke and it was very, very enjoyable. And this too. And I really believe that for those that will also be listening to this after now, would really get their deliverance, get their deliverance from
media deliverance.
from social media. So once again, thank you so much. I left a link on this particular platform for your feedbacks. All right, if you think you have more questions, would ask Elzenitho to respond to it. In our next conversation, I really believe it's something that is going to interest a lot of people because we want to look at the response of the brain to social media addiction. So we are going to get an expert that is going to speak concerning that, or maybe experts now that will speak concerning, because I personally am very fascinated about the brain. I have conversation almost every day concerning the brain. I follow brain coaches, how the brain works and how the brain respond to addiction and ordinary life circumstances, right? So and that's definitely what we'll be having in the next 2 weeks in this particular space again, and we are trusting God for the best. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for joining in, and do have wonderful partying weekend now, right? Thank you, and have a good time. God bless you. Elzenitho, thank you so much once again. God bless you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.